everybody. I just thought I would pop on here today. Every year, or for the last 2 years, this is the second year, I have this little cookbook here. This is my old cookbook, by the way. I mean, this poor little thing is pretty fragile. I've had it for about 30 years. And so I came up with the idea to take my favorite family recipes and put them into this cookbook here that I am painting for my kids to hand down. And like I said, I've been doing this for a couple years. So I've got maybe 5 or 6 recipes in here, and I wanted to add to that today. Let me get my camera set up here so I can see if there might be some questions. Let's open the chat. I thought it might be fun just to chat a bit. Hey, Tina, how are you? Good to see you. I don't know if you remember this last year, Tina. Every year during the holidays, I create another recipe in my book here I've been putting together. So I was showing, and it has all our favorite kind of family recipes. Hi, Betty from South Louisiana. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, because as you can see here, my poor little cookbook that has been very well used for the last 30 some years is kind of falling apart. So I've got a lot of special recipes in here. So what I do is each year, I try to add 1 or 2 recipes in here for my kids. Hi, Pam. Hi, Kim. How are you? Hi, Carol. Oh, thank you, Carol. Very nice. Yeah, it's a little bit daunting, Pam, but I try to just add a few here and there. Hi, Angela. So this one, I actually have a recipe for some really good spaghetti sauce, really unusual. I'm going to be adding that in. But last year I added my strawberry salad. So I just paint a little salad here. This one I think was one of my favorite. It's the Easy Sunset Peachy Crisps. So I did that one. Figgy toast. So just some of the recipes that my kids have enjoyed over the years. And this one is my holiday fudge. So I'm going to use the recipe I had in there. And this journal book, to be very honest, hi Angela from the UK, nice, is a multimedia paper, but it's really, it does pretty good with the paintings. It doesn't seep through. And that's just what I happen to use. I can use pens or anything I want on here. I thought it might be fun, write reflections, and it's so easy. Hi, Charlene. Oh, awesome. Well, welcome. Hi, Brigitte. Bonjour, friend. So, it's kind of a fun idea. What I did is I penciled in a lot of what I'm going to put in, my little recipe. Can you believe this, you guys? It's 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and a bag of Hershey's chips. And then you can put nuts in it. But everybody raves about this recipe, and it's so easy. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that in here today, and maybe we can chat a bit. If you have any questions or things you'd like to see coming up, I hope you'll add them in the chat there. I'm going to use, I have these outline markers, which I haven't used a whole lot. They are kind of cool, though. They're called outline pens. I bought them quite a while ago. And they're kind of cool. Let me show you actually the colors they are, because that's kind of the cool part about it. So it's like a regular ink pen. You just activate it. And I don't know how well you can see that, but it's literally an outliner. So the middle is that silver metallic, and then whatever color I choose kind of outlines it. Let me show you. So I'm going to use that in my book. I'll see if I can find my link I bought these with. So it's kind of got that color, but it's very metallic-y. So kind of fun. I thought that would be fun to use in here. And here's a sneak peek, you guys, at a little elf or gnome I'm going to be sharing. So fun, right? What a cute card. All right. Let's see. Yeah, they're really cool, Tina. Okay, so I'm going to set my palette here, which is actually just a little piece of china I found in my, I think it might have been in my mom's collection. I asked her if I could have it to paint on. I'm going to use, let's see, if you have my 8 long round, you can use that. Let me grab that. If not, so, oops, that's the Princeton Velvet Touch. Where is mine? Let's see, I think this one is mine, the 8 long round, yep. So if you have mine, you can use that. These are sold out, so you can, my second choice would be the 8 Velvet Touch, which you know I love those. And I'm going to start with outlining the fudge here, the words, and I am no calligrapher, you guys, so, you know, don't judge. But I don't know if you can see this. It is such a cool pen, really. And if you like doodling, you'd probably love this. You can also fill in. That's next on my list to learn, actually, is calligraphy. I think that would be so useful. The one thing I do wish these had, I forget who makes these, but I wish it had, this is a little thicker tip, so I can't get a real thin line. I wish it had like the hoo-hoo markers and such, a thinner option to write with. But there we go. I'd love to hear what you guys want to see for the new year too, what you'd like to see me paint. Hi, Yorkshire. Devish, what's one unique life advice from your experience you would... Ooh, boy, that's a good question. Unique life advice. Huh. In relationship to art or just in general? So look how pretty that is. It kind of looks like fudge, doesn't it? I'll hold it up too so you can see how the center is silver metallic and it's just outlined in the brown color here. Pretty cool. I know in regards to art, so I've been painting my whole entire life, and about a decade ago, actually over a decade ago, I made cards for Amazon, and I did that for a long time. But I guess the advice I would have, which I'm always trying to kind of express in my videos, is, you know, each of us are so unique in our style of painting and such. And I think sometimes we get caught up in, we don't look, you know, like somebody else's art, or I'm not as good as them. And I really found over the years, like, find what you enjoy painting, find what you love, and just do that. Don't get too caught up in it doesn't look like somebody else's, or, you know, somebody might not like it. Like, just find what you love to paint. For me, it's flowers. And even when I was making my cards and my other things, I'm going to paint this little hat here, by the way. And I think I'll use maybe this mirror series. If I get caught up in, you know, somebody watching my videos is like, I'm tired of flowers, then it can kind of hold my creativity back a little bit. So that's my thing. That's what I love to paint. So paint what you love, I guess is my main message here. Do you read art books like Still an Artist or War of Art? You know, I don't War Artist or War Still like an Artist, or I'm sorry, I'm not. Is War of Art a book? I do read a lot of art books, always have, and of course they're inspiring for me. But you know what I've noticed, even in, can you see this metallic, by the way? How pretty is that? Ooh, love it. even when I've had people write me before and say, "Oh, somebody is using your art or something like that." But you know what the thing is, you guys? Even if you were to paint exactly what I'm painting, you have your own style. You have your own way of how you paint. So, you know, so many of the techniques with watercolors, wet on wet, wet on dry, creating washes, like the techniques are the techniques, but how you kind of give them your twist and apply them is going to be very unique to you. And I can always tell, even when somebody has used my tutorial, like it's their style. It looks different than mine. So definitely I look at a lot of flower books. Let me show you one of my favorites. I've shown this one before, but I have a lot of books like this. And it just has lots of flowers in here. And I get a lot of inspiration from that. They're not watercolor, but, you know, so I read a lot of books like this. And I do have some of my favorite books. Maybe I can do a video sharing some of those that are just inspiring to me, even though they may not be my exact style. So I say do your own thing. War of Art is a unique book. If you are not... Oh gosh, I'm gonna write that down, War of Art. And Steal Like an Artist. Interesting. I'm gonna have to write those down. Those sound kind of fun. So here is my brownies. What I'm gonna do with the brownies is I'm gonna do like a dry brush, I think. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to grab my MeiLang paints here. Yeah, I love it. They do. Those sound like cool books. I'll have to check those out. So I'm going to grab some of my brown paint here. And the trick, I don't know if you all experienced this, but when I first learned many years ago, dry brush, I could not get it. It's definitely a technique. So this paper is very smooth. What that means is normally when I would, let me show you, use dry brush on cold press, which has that beautiful texture, I can kind of skim over the top. See that? How it's dry brush. And doesn't that look just like a brownie? This is very smooth. So the dry brush is not quite going to work as well on here, but let's see what we can do. So I'm going to put my brush to the side so it's just right along with the paper, and it's doing it a little. I have to really drag my brush. So that creates that textury type of look of a brownie. There you go. I love that question, though, that you posed me. If anybody else has something that I can maybe answer while we're kind of playing here. So there is, hopefully that looks like a little brownie. I'm going to add some more below it. Let's see, let's add this one here. So see that? I have too much water on my brush. And because this water's so smooth, the paper's so smooth, it's not easy to drag my brush across that texture like it would normally be. We'll keep working with it here. There we go. So just playing a little bit with that. So I've got two brownies there. Look at how easy. If you like to paint food, I used to, I've actually done a couple commissions for a book, and that was really fun. I got to paint eggplant and all kinds of veggies. She was an herbalist, so that was pretty fun. Back in my commission days, I did commissions for a long time. But I'll tell you, everything always had flowers in it. Isn't that funny? So notice, kind of some things I've noticed with myself. Go back in all your paintings and notice what you're kind of drawn to, whether it's in an art book or it's just what you seem to always paint. Did you see this little hat, by the way? Look at how cute that turned out with those MAB metallics. So fun. And then I've got a little mixing spoon here. We've got an oven mitt, which maybe we'll make that like a red. Let me grab some red here. I'm gonna let that dry, and then we'll do some fun melting chocolate over the top. Let's see here. Let's paint our little glove. Got to be kind of careful. I don't want to use too much water here, but I want this to be kind of washy. It's almost like painting on, to me, hot press. But look how cute, a little oven mitt. Do any of you guys have special recipe books that you share with your kids? I love cooking and baking, so. Okay, let's do the chocolate on the top now and see what we can do with that. Let's see what, oh, haha, that's funny. Debbie, could you show us how to remove a page from a block? I have a hard time. Oh, funny, Betty, I just did, ooh, hi, Anne-Marie. I just did a video, I think it was a short, and I didn't post it yet, but let me show you that really quick. Great question, Betty. So what you do is, like on the Meeden blocks here, this one, let me find it. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find. So what she's talking about here is a watercolor block comes sealed on all edges, except for a little opening on one edge, and they do that so it holds your paper down. You don't have to tape your paper down. This is, like I said, the Meeden 100% cotton. So let me show you what I do. You can use a credit card, a knife, but what I use is I've got this little palette knife here, and I slip that, so I look for the little opening that isn't glued, and make sure this is dry, and I slip the palette knife under the top sheet. It's kind of hard to see here in my light. It's not as difficult as I just made it look. So I've got my palette knife in there, and then what I'm going to do, and let me preface this by, if your painting is wet, wait till it's dry, because what I've experienced is if I start doing this when the painting is wet, it sometimes doesn't tear right. So you just want to kind of gently slide your palette knife around the outside of your block here until I get back around to where that opening was. And there you go. So I hope that helps. I've been asked that a lot. The other thing I showed all of you recently, but this one doesn't have that, is you will end up with some little pieces of glue that stick out. This one isn't like that, but I was showing how you can, again, use this palette knife and hold your block. And I just, now it's not really gonna work here because I don't have a whole lot, but so that you don't have to scrape off with your fingernail that glue that can get stuck on there, I just run a palette knife across it, and it'll remove all the little glue pieces you have. So hopefully that helped. Great question, by the way. And then before I got started, was I ever afraid? Oh my gosh, yes. Hi, Rose. Funny question, boy, that's a story. So I painted my whole life. While I'm talking here, I'm gonna go ahead and paint the chocolate. I painted my whole life, but about 12 years ago, I used to paint on the floor all the time in my bedroom, late at night, and my better half here had walked in and noticed the paintings on the floor and was like, oh my gosh, did you paint this? Yes, I did. Long story short, he innocently shared it on Facebook wow, I kind of lost it because I was so embarrassed and I'd never really shown my work, and it went really well. And now I am so grateful that he did that, because that got me into people liking my art, encouraging me and inspiring me to show it publicly. And he helped me get into making cards. So yeah, kind of a funny story there. But it was one of the best, scariest things that ever happened to me. And I thank him now. Thank you, Ray. Okay, so I put a layer here. Now, again, this paper is a little bit different to work with. And I went in with that paint, then took a damp brush and just went up alongside of it. I'm working wet and wet here, although being a little careful because this paper isn't, like I said, regular watercolor paper. Now I want to get some different values here, and I was hoping this would look kind of shiny, but ooh, look at this. This is my favorite thing about brownies, is that caramel or chocolate that I pour over it. I have a total sweet tooth, so I love this. I'm going to add in some wet and wet, just dip in there. Ah, love you too. My better half is managing any comments there. He's always told me how encouraged me when my paintings, I get kind of bummed out sometimes. He encourages me and encourages me to do what I love. So there's some little frosting dripping down. We could even do a little bit more down here, but I'm going to do the top of this brownie. Don't these look so yummy? It's the only time of year I ever make these. Yes, he sure is. Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you? I love seeing familiar faces on here. It always makes my day to see familiar people. I really appreciate it. It never goes unnoticed, believe me. So there's some chocolate, and I'm using, again, pretty wet and wet. I'll look up, I've had this book for quite a while, but I'll see if I can find the the link for it. So there's some chocolate or caramel, and I'm going in a little bit heavier, and I'm thinking I might want to add some gold. What do you guys think? To the top of this chocolate or caramel. I mean, how fun is that? Gotta have gold, right? What do you guys think? Kind of cute. And then let's use another marker here. Let's see, this one is orange. I'm going to use that and mark in. Yeah, calligraphy definitely fascinates me, and I would love to take a course in that. Yum, here's a little candy kiss. Let's see, let's try. So I've got my mirror series. If you guys have any more questions, oh, they're so good, Tina. Hi, Josie. Ooh, she is. Yes, please, Josie, send me some info. I've wanted to learn calligraphy for quite a while. I'm going to add a tiny bit of shadow, not with that, underneath here. So I'm going to go into my paint here, maybe some of that Van Dyke brown, but I want kind of a lighter value. I don't want it quite that dark. So let me just use my palette here. And that's probably about 50-50. And then I'm going to go under here and kind of create, I guess, some negative painting here. So it kind of makes those brownies stand out. Now I'm going to go rinse and wash my brush and just go along that. Look at that. I love watching watercolors do that. I just, honestly, it's never like, oh yeah, that's what watercolors does. I'm always kind of fascinated by what watercolors do and how beautiful they are. So I added that in wet on wet here, and this paper's actually doing pretty good. I'm going to draw the corner line there. I'd love to hear if you do something like this for your kids. I have my grandma's old cookbook. Matter of fact, I will show you one of our oldest, most prized recipes that I haven't even shared with my kids. I told them they're going to have to wait. But my grandma used to make this, and then my mom carried on the tradition. So are you guys ready? I have to do it quick because it's a secret recipe. And it's called, I think it was called, can't remember the name. It starts with a B, and it's a fruit salad. But there is no recipe like this on the internet. And it uses these Royal Anne cherries, which are really expensive. She made her own whipping cream and vinegar, pineapple chunks. Oh my gosh. And every year she would make this at Christmas, and she would tell us all how long it took her to make it. And we just loved it as kids. So I'm going to put that one in here as well, because my kids would love to know that recipe. Just adding a little bit of something here to my glove. Maybe we'll make some green dots. So this is kind of an exercise that might just be fun. Debbie, what was the hardest thing to learn? Yes, well, welcome here, Anne-Marie. I am so glad. Make sure you check out my beginners playlist. You might find a lot of really great things in there. Debbie, what was the hardest thing to learn for you about watercolors, and what are you still working on even now? I really feel like it's that same thing, you know, just finding your style and loving it. It's still something, I know my style, but then I have those, you know, such an interesting experience being here on YouTube, because before I just painted, and now I tend to get on and go, what can I do that's really exciting and fun for everybody? And I love flowers. So I've had to learn that just, that's my thing. Like, paint what I love. And I hope you guys do that too. Not judging yourself, you know, and just really doing it for the joy it brings you, whatever your style is, and enjoying that. No pressure, and not trying to be what everybody else is. This is a little, that was a great question, by the way, but I think that would have to be, as simple as that sounds, you know, probably what I think about most is I'm always trying to bring lots of fun things. And if I get caught up in questioning what I'm bringing instead of just coming from a place of joy, it can really block me. So here's our little candy kiss. I don't know if you can see that. The mirror series by MABs are perfect for that. And I think I'm about done. What I'll probably do with the words is I'm not going to use these markers because they're not quite thin enough. So I think I'll use my Ohuhu marker. Good morning, Sharon. I am well, thank you. Oh, great. Tina, you're always so wonderful. Anne-Marie, I'm just so excited with you because I've been doing watercolors for, well, my whole life, and I'm 61, and I literally never get tired of them. I can do practice washes, I can practice all the regular things, and I just love it. Debating if I should maybe add a little, well, let's do our words first. And you guys keep asking questions, or, you know, I think I said this a few minutes ago. I'd love to know what you guys would like to see coming up for the new year. Like, what are your biggest challenges in watercolors? I know I hear a lot of the same things. Leaves, people have a really hard time with leaves. And I've got a playlist on those, by the way. Landscapes. This, by the way, is the Ohuhu fine liner. This is my favorite pen. You know, leaves, washes. If you guys can get down how to create a wash, oh my gosh, you're going to be huge. And values, just simple things. I love being able to share simple things that I'll hear you guys try, and you can't believe how much easier it made what you're doing. Oh, good, Charlene. I hope you do something similar. I would have loved to have had something like this from my grandmother or my mom. So a can of sweetened condensed milk. I'm not kidding. This is literally the easiest recipe. And everybody talks about it. A can of sweetened condensed milk, a bag of Hershey's chips. You just melt the chocolate really slowly. You add in that sweetened condensed milk, and then you line a little square pan with either foil or the parchment paper. You pour in the mixture, you put it in the fridge, and you're done. And I like to add nuts on top of mine because I'm kind of a nut person. And you can add whatever toppings you want, but it's the easiest recipe, and everybody every year comments it. I almost feel guilty for it being so easy. So I'm about done here. That was fun. I did this last year as well. And I'm just going to keep adding to it. I write a lot of times on these recipes, like where the recipe came from. If it was my grandmother's, and I try to write the year, and just little notes and anecdotes for my kids. So one day they'll kind of know where the recipe came from, and it makes it a little bit more personal. Almost done here. And don't forget to check out those MABs if you haven't already. If you watch me, you know I've been using her for like a year. Oh, yeah, it's so good, Rose and Anne-Marie. It's so easy and so good. All right, everybody. Well, if you're done, the only other thing I might add on here is let's use that golden series and maybe do a few little, I should have wet this first, but it doesn't take long. These paints become activated pretty quickly. And I'm just going to do a few sprinkles here. Because, you know, oh, look at that. Isn't that fun? I'm going to add a little bit more water. Yeah, you would have some nice French recipes, Anne-Marie. Look at that. Can you see that? We could have even put some gold on here. I'm kind of surprised I didn't do that already. Let me see if I can hold this up so you can see the metallics on here. And I'm about done. Look at that. See the metallics on the little hat? And now you can maybe see these outline markers too. I'd have to search for my link for that. But if you're a doodler, you'd love those pens. So there we are. And then I'll date it and sign it at the bottom. Maybe put some little notes here of where the recipe came from. And I think I'm done. I had so much fun with all of you guys. And, you know, please, if you want to continue commenting, I'd love to hear what you'd like to see coming up for the new year. Thanks, Tina. You're welcome. I'm getting better. Yes, Rose, those metallics, I've been using these for a year and a half. I love them. They make such a difference in paintings. It's like I almost can't stand not to add them. All right, everybody, I will see you all soon. This was so much fun. I will do my best to maybe for future lives give a heads up. And that way, you know, I'm coming on live, and so fun chatting with you all. I will see you all soon. Happy painting, everybody. I have to figure out how to turn this off. You're welcome, Angela. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you can watch this over. Thanks, Josie. I might be on here another minute because I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Love you all.